Hey, so I wanted to show you guys my motor mounts. I get a lot of questions on these motor mounts. And this is all it is, guys. These are my ones from last year. And because I got my new pipes on, I got to make new motor mounts. So that was that side over there. And then I still have this side on. So I'm going to take you through a quick process. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I'm going to make some motor mounts for you guys. Alright, so I got these cut. Like I said, these are the ones from last year. I'm trying to get you to guys realize how easy this really is. What I did last year, I actually made this plate first, and this plate is the one that mounts up right to the motor. And then I made this one second, and this is the one that mounts up to the Crown Vic. And all I'm using is the hole right in the Crown Vic K-member. And I'm actually bolting up through the bottom and putting a nut on top of this. And what this is like a little offset plate. So you have this plate, you have this one attached to your motor, and this one on your Crown Vic. So it's sitting kind of like this. And imagine this plate isn't, this tubing isn't here. And then what I actually did, I took a piece of tubing, held it up there, scribed a line to match my angle, and fit it right in there. Now what's cool, like I said, these are the ones from last year, and I'm moving my motor right now because of the header issue. What's cool is that these actually fit. All they need is a little more offset. So all I did was cut that piece and then quacked the offset piece. So once you have that all done up, I'm gonna check my motor location one more time, and then tack weld my motor mounts, both left and right side. Right now I just have jacks underneath the car. Not this orange piece, this isn't really doing much. I have a jack underneath the oil pan, which I know isn't the best place to lift from. I made a really good lifting mount that I was going to use, but I ended up not even using. I do have a cherry picker. So like I said, I'm using a jack underneath the trans and underneath the oil pan for the motor. So something you want to check before you weld up tack up your brackets on your motor. You want to check your motor location. A big issue is your pipes. You have to make sure those fit. Both sides. So I was having some clearance issue actually with the frame. This pipe here is pretty close. And then this back pipe is actually also pretty close to the frame. Now I can still get, there's still a gap, so there's no, they do fit, but I mean it is close. Now these are solid mounts, semi-solid. I do have like a piece of rubber I put in between the mount. But, so the motor really doesn't move anywhere when you're even under torque. What I might end up doing is put one of those straps that connect your motor right to your frame. So it gives it a little more torque, so when your motor is ready to torque over, this actually stops it. A lot of guys will have a motor plate out in front for drag racing, but I don't have that just because I'm kind of a cheap butt. Another thing to check is your steering linkage. Now this is the Crown Vic steering linkage. I'll do a video just on this if you guys are interested. I know a lot of guys are asking about that. So my steering linkage actually goes out like this a little bit because I was running these old Mustang headers that kind of went through here. So it kind of, you want to make sure you can rotate your U-joint without hitting this pipe. Another thing to check, your height of your motor. You want to make sure you can close your hood with your carburetor on. And my carburetor is actually, man, I want to say like almost 6 to 8 inches high. Just because I have adapter plate, and then I have my carburetor, and then I have a air filter if I ever need to run one. So that's another thing to check. You also want to check, make sure it's level this way. So what I do for that, I actually just put a level on here. And you can download a cool app for your phone, and it will actually give you degrees pretty accurate. So it'll be like 0.1 degrees or 0.2 degrees. This I would stay within, I don't know, plus or minus a half degree within square level to the earth. And all of this is at ride height. So really I'm supposed to have my motor on my suspension. I already went through all that. So another thing to check is actually driveline angle. A lot of guys don't check this, and then they throw the drive shaft in the car and they realize, oh, what the heck, I'm getting tons and tons of vibration. Well, you need to check, make sure your motor and trans, your output shaft angle is correct. So what I usually set mine to, because this is a drag, semi-drag, it's a street car, I actually set mine to like 2.5, and because of the way these pipes are, and because my height offset is kind of messed up, and I'm also really close to the trans tunnel in there, I actually set mine at 3 degrees. And the way to check that, you use that same app from your phone, and this was actually spun up on a lathe, so you can set your phone right on this, or the correct I forget the correct term. It's like a digital protractor, I think. So you set it right on there, and it will give you a degree that your output shaft is. And usually for a leaf spring car, I would do like no more than 3, really. So maybe 2.5 on that. And you can adjust that by raising your trans up and down, or lowering your, putting your motor up or down. So one more thing to check is actually the distance between your frame and the center of your output shaft. And this basically makes sure the motor is square within the frame rails. All I do is take a measurement between the center, just with a tape measure, to the inside of the frame, and I do that at the end of the trans. And I also do that to the front of the motor. I take a measurement, let me get down. I take a measure from the inside of the frame to the center of the crankshaft, which is actually the center of this pulley. And right now I'm at 16 inches dead nuts. And you want that within, I don't know, maybe a 64th or a 32nd. So I got these things all tacked up. Tacked them up right on the car. Here's the other one. Tacked them up using the MIG. It's just gasless right now. And I'm going to finish weld them using the TIG welder. DC, we're going to max this thing out. We're probably going to do I don't know if we're going to do 2 passes. I think last time I just did 1 pass, and the welds actually turned out okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. So maybe we'll just do 1 pass. I'm not the best at welding, but here we go. Well, there it is. All finished. Motor's in its final resting place.